Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And with that, there is going into body positivity in and out of cosplay. Brief note about my history with it. This is the very first cosplay I ever did back in BlerDCon 2008. And I was aware, of course, with Halloween, I was doing costumes, but this was, like I said, this is the very first cosplay I did. And I weighed a lot more, and I decided to just, at that time, self-esteem was low. And I just decided to go with something that was a little bit towards a character that I knew I could do. My dreams was to be Barrett Wallace from the Final Fantasy VII. My bank account said, do Doc Lewis from Punch-Out! And it worked out. Sadly, this is the only picture that I got with. Next one is Mario, but it still worked out. And it was a little while before I got back into any type of convention where, I was still in that phase of dressing as someone that looked remotely like me, regardless of my weight at the time, size, and especially skin color. But through circumstances, I broke out of that, and my very first BlerDCon, I ended up going with a small group. Neko was included in this as the Addams family, where I was Gomez. And in short, we killed him. Now, when it comes to body positivity in general, it is something that really is something we all deal with in one way or another. Whether it is about height, weight, an appendage missing, anything of that nature. And there's so many inspirational stories that are out about those that are overcoming anything related to that. And with this particular cosplayer, Night Mage, here he is as Laura Croft, who, if you're familiar with that character, she's a more athletically built adventurer. And this guy, yeah, he's athletic as well, just much more meatier than traditional Laura. That's not holding him back. He has been Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror, to Link, to Raven from DC, Teen Titans. It has not stopped him from doing it. And much like what we did with the Addams family, much like what we're doing right now, kill it every single time, regardless of any traditional ties to the character's look. Now, to do it within cosplay, now, for different people, you can either find that positivity because of cosplay or bring it from the outside into cosplay and then accentuate whatever look you want to bring into it. Now, how many of you have found that level of confidence through cosplay, or have you had confidence prior to getting into cosplay? Just show of hands. How? Now, Miss in the back. Oh, yes. You mind sharing your story with?
I just come from the Renaissance fair world, and so I'm already, and I'm also an expert fighter. And when I first started attending a Renaissance fair, I was sizable woman, and you put a sword in my hand, but I was still kind of quiet and trying to make myself
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that for the interpreter, please? Can you repeat that last part? You were one of the first
Yes,
people.
I was one of the first women ever at the New York Renaissance Fair to play one of the sheriff's evil henchmen. So I was Captain Morgan Kilmer. And we took this very quiet, kind of smaller inner person, flicky in leather, and a sword. For years, people thought I was really a mean, nasty person. I would just walk anywhere, and people would be like, "Oh my God, here she comes." Thank you. Be nice. Be, just behave. Don't do anything that you're not supposed to do. And that did carry on over to, I think, my real life, to the fact that now everywhere I go, if I just stand a little bit straighter, boom, and it all resulted out of being that costume, playing a character that all had strength till I beat you at
That was an excellent story. Thank you for that. I still have to go to a Renaissance fair. Yeah, we're working. But yes. For another big personal story, we'll do two. Long before cosplay was even a word for me, I wanted to dress up as a character. Some of you might be familiar with him from the Street Fighter franchise, M. Bison. And I expressed this to someone who, we're talking about this like 2000, 2001. I was like, oh, I would love to dress as Bison. All he said, keep in mind, I had low self-esteem at the time. All he had to say was, your face was too round. And that stuck with me for a while, way too long. But fast forward to when I was Doc Lewis, I was slow climb up. Then when I was Gomez, the dam broke in tons of ideas. Up to this particular look, which is, it started in Halloween 2019, which this is supposed to be, eye patch considered, a punk rock version of the character Deathstroke. Yeah. And it was something that I was like, no one's done this before. There's been so many variants of Batman and the rest of his family and the villains. This is bold. This is something that has to go into a con. It would have happened last year, but guess what? Yeah. So that gave me more time to add on more. I was able to fit these bands on and just turn it into something beautiful and representative of a life that I've lived outside of cosplay that also helped with the positivity. And going back to what you said about how there are certain characters that they'll age, but the body still looks like they're going to the Olympics, versus ones like how you mentioned Uncle Iroh. He's everybody's uncle, as far as I'm concerned. You saw how he was very portly from the beginning, but in that time he was locked up, he was ready. He was ready for Ninja Warrior. And yeah, like either version of that is still something that anybody can connect to. And seeing that was very inspirational as well. You know, especially finally getting to see the full series on Netflix, and I'm like, I'm gonna be here next year, regardless. And you see how this particular, then there are these fools, like the person I told you about, that talked me down as M. Bison, and then there was another time when I was Tyrese from The Walking Dead during the height of the show itself. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me. That's and I went to New York. Philly Comic Con. It was a great time. We'll just leave it at that. But there was a group of 3 guys. 2 of the guys were like, oh, that's awesome, that's awesome. But then the third guy, all he said was, Tyrese isn't that big.
Wow.
I looked at him, his 2 friends or whatever they were looked at him, and we just went back to talking about the show. We just paid him no mind. Yeah. And, that's something that doesn't always happen for everybody. And you're going to react how you're going to react. But no matter what they do, what they say, always do you. Make if you have a character that you love, or you hate, but you may admire the character, you hate what they do. Like, how many people in here have watched The Boys, for example? Keep those hands up. How many like the character Homelander? No. Well, if you want to dress up whether you want to dress up as anybody like that, do what you got to do to make the character your own.
Yeah.
Be whoever you want to be, because you don't know how many people out here are getting inspired by you showing up as something you're comfortable with. But the first person you're going to be inspired by is you.